Hello, growers. If you enjoy podcasts like this one, tune into my podcast In Search of Soil on YouTube for a deep dive into the mysteries beneath our feet. Join me as I explore topics such as mycorrhizal fungi, mushrooms, compost, biochar, and more. It's a soil nerd's dream. We're going deep. We're talking to scientists about all things soil related. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or a gardener just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Check out In Search of Soil on YouTube. What about mycorrhizal fungi? Would you think about adding those to a system at the very beginning? They can only survive when they're near living roots, so you would have to plant them at the same time you planted a crop. And do you think that they could survive in the soil in between crop rotations or come winter, where you wouldn't have to re-inoculate the soil again with them?
I would want to use my microscope and make sure that those root systems are actually colonized. And so by washing your roots off, putting them on your microscope and illuminating them, either using an epifluorescent microscope or just taking a handheld UV lamp and illuminating that root system, you should be able to see the fluorescent arbuscules in that root system, and then you know that it's colonized. There's no question. You're not trying to guess. So if you've got dirt, absolutely. Putting in a mycorrhizal inoculum is a very good idea. But you don't want to put it out just mix it into the soil because, you've only got a few million spores in any packet typically that you're getting. And you've got to make sure that those spores are associated with the root system. And if you just mix the spores into the soil or into the dirt, you're probably not going to get any, or very few of those spores are actually going to get within 10 micrometers of that root system. That's about the distance that the spore has to be for it to germinate and grow and make it through and colonize that root system before it runs out of the energy that was in that spore. That's all the energy it's gotten. If they're too far away, if they germinate and grow, they'll die before they get there. So they probably will never germinate. So what I like to do instead, if you're going to put a plant in that requires mycorrhizal colonization, and not all plants need mycorrhizal fungi, and there are some plants that will be harmed by mycorrhizal colonization. So you need to know what kind of plant are you planting. So where we know that we need the mycorrhizal fungi, and you suspect you don't have any mycorrhizal fungi in your soil, what you want to do is take your seeds, put them into a compost extract, mix in some mycorrhizal spores, because the mycorrhizal spores stick to organic matter. They stick, they adhere, they're there, you can't wash them off. So you pull your seeds out of that seed drench, or maybe other people, what they'd like to do is put the seeds out on a moving belt and just spritz those seeds as they go by with that mixture of a compost tea with mycorrhizal spores in it. The tea organisms will stick to the seed surface, and so will the mycorrhizal spores. You let it dry down a little bit, and into your planter box it goes, and you go out and plant. And then as soon as that seed germinates and that root starts coming out, these mycorrhizal spores are right Johnny on the spot, starting to form that connection between the mycorrhizal fungus and the root system. So making certain that you have a higher percentage of success is a really important thing to do.
Sure.
When you deal,
spending good money on it too, right?
Right. Those spores are not cheap, but understandably so. It's not easy to grow those root systems get the mycorrhizal fungi to grow on those root systems, get them to make the extramatrical spores, and then collect all those extramatrical spores. That's not a cheap job. That's not inexpensive. So you want to make certain that when you're growing things like brassica, cole, kale crops, things like that, those are non-mycorrhizal plants. So don't be inoculating those root systems or those seeds with the mycorrhizal spores, because you're going to make things worse. It's hard for those plants to support their own growth requirements as well as the mycorrhizal spore. It doesn't do that job of bringing nutrients to the cole and kale crops.
Is this another justification? Is this another reason why somebody might not want to use a crop rotation? You build up a population of mycorrhizal fungi that associate themselves with a certain crop. They're in the soil. You plant them season after season, rotation after rotation, and that population of mycorrhizal fungi stays strong. You rotate in another crop that might not form the same association with those same mycorrhizal fungi, and the ones that you've built up in the soil may go dormant, they may die off. So next time your crop comes back into the rotation, the fungi that used to be there and associate with those roots might not be there, or there might be less of them in the soil. So is this a reason to potentially not rotate crops?
Yep. And so why did you do that to yourself? Have a section of your garden that is for the brassica, cole and kale crops, the mustards. And that part, you could rotate within that area if you want to follow organic regs and not get dinged. And then over here, you would have your needs mycorrhizal colonization, so that you're maintaining that soil as close as possible to the perfect condition for those crops.
Hello, growers. Say goodbye to heavy sandbags and hello to Modern Growers Quick Hoops Low Tunnels. Protect your plants from pests, wind, rain, and frost without the hassle of sandbags or flimsy hoops. Our patented design eliminates the need for clamps and ropes, while the unique wire system keeps covers secure yet easily accessible. Tested in the strong winds of New Zealand for over 20 years, Quick Hoops are light, strong, portable, and versatile. Most importantly, they're designed for field use. These aren't some lightweight system that only looks great in a greenhouse. Our hoops are designed to last in harsh field conditions. Use them with any covering to grow year-round and safeguard your crops. Shade cloth, frost blanket, insect net, clear poly, no problem. Quick Hoops can handle them. Get Quick Hoops today at shop.moderngrower.co and protect your crops for years to come.